It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Time to get this party started. We got Blake Sloan coming your way in just a second. We'll find out what's going on in the world of real estate. Just to let you know, though, you can get in touch with Blake. You're going to hear a lot of stuff here over the next 30 minutes. You're going to say, hey, well, hold on. Let me get some more information on that. Easy to do. Give him a call at his office right here in the Myrtle Beach area. Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. You can also go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. Easy way to get in touch with him, but if you miss that contact information, don't worry. We'll repeat it several times over the next 30 minutes. So like I said, let's get this party started. Here he is, Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Got an awesome brand new show this week. Tons of great stuff to talk about. Some crazy numbers in the mortgage world we'll talk about this week. Back to 1-year lows. So they're on fire right now, which is awesome. We hit that new record a couple times this week. And so that's a perfect time. We'll talk about again how it's like a perfect storm ultimately for us in regards to being in Myrtle Beach, being in the summertime when all the buyers are in town, right? And so we'll talk about what that means. We'll have the updated market numbers, or at least a recap of the market numbers for anyone that missed. The brand new numbers will be out about the 10th of this month. And so we'll talk about those as well. We have some awesome success stories I'm super proud of. Like I said, my team, we are running like the red line. We're redlining it all over the place just because it's super busy. Everybody's in town. We've been crushing it. I actually bought a home this week from a client. So we'll talk about that as well. And also look at the impact that home staging has on your house. And that's something we had on the list last week. We did not have time to get to. And so we'll talk about what that means overall. It's crazy numbers. We've been using home staging for, I don't even know, since 2010, 11. And we had a certified home stager on our team since that point too. And so we'll talk about those numbers and how we use that to our clients' advantage from the psychological aspect of home buying and how that gives our clients a huge competitive advantage. We'll talk about that as well. If we have time at the end, as usual, we're looking to add to our team. We have a plethora of leads from all over the globe that are coming in. So we'll talk about what we're looking for on the team as well.
All right, a lot of stuff to get to, and we're just scratching the surface right now. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, you haven't heard Blake on the radio before, number one, where have you been? But number two, who is this guy? Well, he's been called the real estate whiz kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, and Realtor magazine, other national publications. You've seen him on NBC. You've also seen him on Fox and Friends with Morning Show. You've heard the endorsements here on this very radio station from Sean Hannity, from Glenn Beck, from Barbara Corcoran, Gary LaVox, and a whole lot more. Now, put them all together, just unprecedented as far as the world of real estate is concerned. Thing is that he's got a whole team working with him, and they're working with his trademark systems. That's right. He's got trademark systems, Blake does, to help people's buyers and sellers in the area. It's kind of a secret as to what the trade secrets are, but he's willing to spill at least a little bit of it as to what the most important part of his trademark systems are.
Yeah, this is like my blood, sweat, and tears into those systems ultimately, right? So that's one thing that has become the calling point for this show for me ultimately, and why we do what we do, specifically with this show, because I see the horror stories over and over and over, and it's almost like they're on repeat. I hear the same stories pretty much continuously, just about bad experience people had in real estate. If you read anything online, most people are complaining about the real estate agent. It comes down to really one single variable, right? The single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only, and that thing is the agent you choose. Period, right? People make a mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be further from the truth. And so it's just like coming down to any doctor, any lawyer, doesn't matter, what type it is, you want the absolute best. And people make the mistake of thinking that everyone's the same, or they make the mistake of thinking that the stakes aren't as high as they actually are. And so you have to be hyper aware of this, understand like this is my largest asset for most people. How it's actually executed matters. And so the reason that matters is there's 118 different variables from A to Z when you're selling a property. So if each one's handled correctly, what's that do? That puts money in your pocket, property gets sold, right? Anything's handled incorrectly, aka that ball gets dropped. Those are things that can cost you, tremendous amount of money. And so what we did and what helps us, have that advantage is we identified every single variable point. Most agents have no clue what they are, much less have a system in place that helps them proactively manage those variables. And so we create a system, right? We have this saying that says systems work, people don't, right? Your system does not forget to do something. And so what we did is we basically managed all those variables. So what is one of those variables? It could be anything from People not answering the phone when a buyer calls in, right? A lead not getting responded to when it comes in after 5 o'clock. And so all these things are, and all the way down, a perfect example this week, we just had an appraisal come in $18,000 short. And so what system does your agent have in place to help combat that, which is what we're doing right now? We have a separate advisor that's an appraiser that we were able to get that to, and we picked apart the adjustments that were made there to help save our client money and put money back in their pocket, right? These are systems that we have in place to help give our client advantages. So what we did, we put all those together, and it's like stacking the dominoes. So at the end, there's a huge gap between us and everyone else. And so it's like running a marathon. And so everyone takes off at the same time, right? And what happens, though, is some finish 2 and 3, sometimes 4 hours ahead of other people. It's the same thing we do in the marathon of selling your home. We stack the variables, the right things in the right order, and knock the dominoes down to give you, the client, a huge competitive advantage. That's called the guaranteed sold system. I designed it. We licensed other parts of the country, but it gives you a huge competitive advantage. So what it does, the only proven system to sell them is twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods, and it works very, very, very well. On the buy side, guess what? There's 100 plus different variables. And so what we did there is they're usually the ones opposite side of the transaction. And so we create a system there that's different, that's proven repeatable, that gives our client a huge competitive advantage when we're actually helping them in the process. And it's the only proven system to get you priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation when you're negotiating, and the absolute best negotiation in the home inspection results, right? The 40 plus pages that come through, what do you ask for? Do you get them done for your client? And those are things that we not only have a system in place to manage, we train very heavily on to give our clients an advantage in that process. Both of those give our clients a competitive advantage, and who you use matters, right? The agent that you choose matters, their experience matters, the amount of volume they do matters, and those are both things that we use every single time to get our client the advantage when they're buying or selling.
All right, sounds good. We're just getting started, like I said, but coming up in just a minute, some of the most important numbers you're going to be hearing all weekend. Number one, we got mortgage rates coming up. Also, we'll get a real estate update to find out what's going on in our market, in your market, around the block from where you live right now. What are homes selling for? We'll find out in just a couple of seconds here. Get in touch with Blake right now at Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com.
Hey, if you are in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Hannity here with some important advice. Now, look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of properties in hot, cold, moderate markets. And one of the lessons I have learned is this.
Right?
Hire the agent who knows how to create the most demand for your home. Now, if I needed to create
just you can head out whenever we got the break right now. You can probably head
there's
out.
only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, he services the entire Myrtle Beach area, attracts hundreds of buyers every week, and sells a home on average every 24 hours. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible. Plus, it's like getting an immediate offer on your home, because if your home doesn't sell for the price and the deadline you agree to, you will have it bought for cash, and he offers flexible fees. Find out how much demand your home can command right now. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Coming up in just a minute, we're going to be checking out what the mortgage rates are looking like for this week. Right now, though, let's check to see what the market is doing. Any kind of interesting things you're seeing there, Blake?
Yeah, man. So the great news is it's still super hot, right? And so, obviously, we'll talk about that. Price is what we're seeing kind of make the big move right now, which is obviously great for any home seller out there, because we're having that perfect storm we'll talk about in a minute. It's seasonal here where we live. We all know that, right? Anyone that's been here for a while knows Myrtle Beach is very seasonal. And so everyone comes in town right when school's out. Guess what just happened? School got out. And so we're going to see a huge influx come in of buyers. And obviously from last month's numbers, they're looking very good. So last month's sales we're up 4.1% from a resale home. So that's what the majority of the marketplace is resale single family homes. Last month there's 511 and they're up 4.1%. Now the key number here to look at is price, right? Price last month up 9.3%, which is great news. Median price right now 234 900. And so I was just kind of looking at a national article just so you can kind of see some comparison. It's something I hadn't really talked about in a few weeks, but just want to make sure you guys kind of get some comparison. So if you look at national numbers, there's a big article that talks about like what's happening with home prices, and the actual title is what's really happening with home prices. But it talks about how nationally we're not seeing a 6 to 7% annual appreciation level. Most areas are seeing 3%. And so the great news for us is we're almost triple that right now at 9%. Now, why is that? We're great affordability in regards to a lot of places nationally. You obviously can hear all the articles we've been talking about for the past, 3 or 4 months. We're topping almost every single list for relocation, second homes, beach houses. I mean, all this stuff. And so we're still very well insulated. And so what you saw in a lot of marketplaces, especially up north, is the basic affordability kind of got to a max where things started kind of leveling out. And we're always, if you remember back and go watch any of our old shows on like YouTube and stuff, we talk about we're usually 6 months behind everyone else. And so we're kind of seeing that sweet spot right now for anyone out there from a home selling standpoint, where we're still riding that up from a price standpoint, which is awesome news. So that's great. One thing is driving that is supply. Right now we're at 5.5 months of inventory. What that means, anything less than 6 months is still a seller's market. And so anything above 6 months becomes a buyer's market, right? That's just kind of a way to look at generally. And so still the advantage there is to the seller. And so if you're a home seller, make sure you take advantage of this. Super low rates again, right? 12-month lows, which no one ever thought to get back down. We saw some this past week below 4%, which I'll talk about in a second, which is awesome news there overall. Now, obviously into new construction, we saw a little bit of decline. New construction sales down 10.5% last month. There's a million different reasons we talked about. We talked about a lot of that last show, but the great news, new construction price up 11%. And so 271,300 is the increase in price. And so that's awesome news for the median price there. And inventory, they're right at 5.8 months inventory. You're finally seeing them catch up a little bit from the shortage they've had for really the past 2 years. And so that's because, guess what? They're building everywhere, right? Anywhere you can see, there's knocking down trees and building. Absolutely. It's crazy for me growing up here because I go to places I've been my whole life. And you've been here for a long time too, right? Yeah. And so it's crazy to watch that happen. Like, man, if I don't go to like a certain part of the beach for a little while, like let's say a month, I'm like, man, where the heck did this come from? All these places are gone. And so guess what? Take advantage of that while we're still in that growth mode. And so that's super awesome there. Into condos really quick, just so you can kind of see resale condos. They're pretty much flat. There's a 0.9% decrease. So it's very, very minimal, 556 condos sold versus 561 last year. So very, very close, right, to where it was. The key number here, price is still increasing up 2% at 130,500. And one of those with condos, that's something you really got to dig into the micro market. You got some condos that are efficiency on the ocean, and you got 2 and 3 and 4 bedroom condos miles in from the ocean. And so it just really matters on your micro market area. Make sure you get with your agent or us. We can help really dig that down for you as well. So the bottom line is we're coming into the season where things are happening. Everyone can feel it. You can feel it. So we all have been having that itch for a while. Like, well, Sun Fun this weekend. We have all kind of stuff going on. And so ultimately, this is when the people start coming to town. Now, the corresponding aspect of that is that these people have been searching for months and months and months, and they're combining the vacation with the home search. How do I know that? We have them in town right now today looking. And so that's one example. Barron on our team, one of our top agents, he went down and met someone who's buying a condo in Garden City. And guess what? They were staying right next door in a different condo in the separate building. And so we see this over and over and over. And so if you're thinking about selling, reach out to us. You always want to play. We've had a few people come in on our email list that we provide value every month. And one of the questions is like, well, should I wait till September? Like, no, you want to do it. It's all supply and demand based, right? So we all know when supply is down and basically demand is up, that's going to drive price on pressure on price. And so that's what you want to take advantage of as a home seller. You want to tee it up when everyone's coming to town. And now what's going to throw fuel in this fire, so to speak, is interest rates, right? And so it's been crazy. Remember last week's show is 4.10%. Okay. So now we're down to 4.01%. So a whole tenth of a point, drop, which is huge, right? And so we hit another 52-week low, which is a 1-year low in rates. And so it could not be a better time this is happening because of our seasonality here, right? Like we mentioned, if this happened in December, wouldn't it be that big of a difference? A little bit, but ultimately, when you have that combination, you have people move faster. You have people pay a little more because now they can afford a little more, right? And also, it's going to get them off the fence. So some people who may be waiting until into summer are going to move now because they're able to do so. And we had a client this week get a 3.875 interest rate. Awesome, right? So you're down back below 4%, which is crazy. And so you want to take advantage of that as a home buyer, obviously, because now you can borrow money for cheaper. And obviously, your affordability goes up as well. Everyone thought we'd be in the mid to high fives right now, right? If you remember that, every single expert in the country thought about that. And so we're kind of seeing that the bond market has done very well for the past few weeks. And so if you look back, even I had a track every week. So the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4.10, 4.15, 4.2, 4.28, and now we're back down to 4.01. And so if you're teeing it up, if you've been listening and you've been thinking, maybe I should take some action, take action on either side. Home sellers, why would you want to do that? Because that's when buyers are buying, right? Both seasonality-wise, when they're coming into town, looking at stuff, and obviously everyone's still got the itch to do things and get out the house. And, even if you're local, you're seeing that happen now a lot as well because the weather's nice. People take action when there's that ability there, right? And the other part of that is people can afford more. So a buyer who may not could afford yours before can now afford yours because they're able to bump that up a little bit. We see that happen all the time based on their debt to income ratio and based on to be on their monthly payments. And so if you're out there and you've been thinking about it, been waiting, take action on it. Reach out, give us a call. 843-808-SOLD. Now is the time for sure to make sure we take advantage of this.
All right, coming up in just a second. Show continues. We've got more great stuff to get into, including your hot buyers alert. Also some fantastic success stories. You got to find out. These people who have used Blake and have worked out so unbelievably well. You'll hear more stories coming your way in just a second. That's all coming up in a minute. Remember, if you want to get in touch with Blake, it's really easy to do. All you have to do is give him a call at 843-808-SOLD. 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaBox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts. I'm moving on. When I'm Moving On won the award for ACM Song of the Year, it's
what are we looking at, 10 to 15?
Challenges that come with life's big changes. For many, that happens when it's
about 10. Oh, he's gone already. I didn't even know he was going to slide down. I got about 10 and a half minutes.
Okay, I got some time to fill in, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why in Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group markets your home on a whole different level. Now listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Blake Sloan online at blakesloan.com, or you can call him at 843-808-SOLD. Start packing.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Coming up in just a minute, we've got fantastic success stories. People who have joined forces with Blake and now are really, really happy about it. First of all, it's time for your hot buyers alert, and these are really hot. Blake and his team working with just a huge amount of home buyers, and they're all looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area, anywhere in the range between $150,000 to $3.5 million. It's a big range, but if you're in there and even thinking about selling, contact Blake immediately. That same phone number, 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. How many people are looking for homes in the area? Lots. And by lots, I mean lots. Over 53,000 active home buyers on Blake's website right now looking for homes in the area. They're looking for your home, and that's why they need inventory, because there's so many people looking for so few homes, and that's why you're doing the business.
Yes, these are real people. That's the cool part to talk about. I'm watching them actually right now live. Real username, password accounts. These aren't like hits or traffic. A lot of people throw some numbers around a lot of times. That's not real people. These are 3,000 plus real people that are from all over the globe. Like right now on the site, Matthew Shabarley, Bedford, Ohio, Lee Bowers, Mebane, North Carolina. Where's that at? You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Mebane, M-E-B-A-N-E. I probably butchered that name, but Joan Neal, Chester, PA. We got Robin from Charlotte. We got Kim from Rose Inlet, who's on here. I got Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, Roswell, Georgia, Hightstown, New Jersey. And so the reality is, right, we have buyers from all over the globe. Washington, D.C. actually right here. And so the reality is, how do we do this? My business model gives us a huge advantage because we have a team model, meaning that we have a team of buyer experts who all day, every day, they just hunt, they follow buyers, and they serve them at a very high level, right? We have a listing team, myself, and a couple listing partners that we help serve the sellers at a very high level. And so through that, regardless of what happens we're going to serve those buyers. And so it gives us a huge advantage because that's how we have 50,000 plus buyers, because I'm constantly investing a massive amount of money driving traffic all over, right? Online, most of that $10,000 a month is driving traffic. And so that gives us a huge advantage because we're outspending the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. And so how does that affect you as a home seller? Well, the reality is I can now have a higher chance of matching up. And we talked about in the past, we developed basically an algorithm that'll take any new listing that we get and reverse engineers the most likely buyer for that property based on their previous search pattern. So it's like when you're on Facebook and you see the ad that's like exactly what you thought about or talked about. It's very similar to what we do there. And so it allows us to not only have 50,000 plus buyers, 53 plus, we're at 53,260 right now, to be able to match up, right? We're able to increase the chances. It's the same thing. You take a classic Corvette, right? You can take your classic Corvette, put it out in front of Walmart and probably find a buyer, right? Especially on 544. But the reality is, if you take that same classic Corvette and put every Corvette enthusiast magazine, every Corvette enthusiast website, the chances are you're going to do what? Drive more traffic and have more people who are interested in that type of specific car. It's going to increase demand, which ultimately increases what? The price. It's the same thing we do here because of our business model. That's what gives us a huge advantage, because we're outspending the average agent 100 to 1. And so that's something that's important, that matters out there. And so why do we bring it up? Because we need inventory. We talked about how hot the market is right now, what's going on. Make sure you tee it up. And here's the thing. One of the coolest parts that really makes this show worth it is when we have people who listen, who refer their friends, relatives. That's the coolest part about doing this show, is we have someone who went through a horror story and they said, hey, look, you got to call Blake, and gave him our number or whatever it is. That's when it's neat for us to come in. We'll talk about a success story in a minute about that. That really means a lot. So anyone you come across that's thinking about selling, that may talk about it, have them reach out and call us, 843-808-SOLD, because these are real people from all over the country and even international that are buying here, because wow, we're spending money up front. I don't wait till you get your listing to spend money. I'm spending money day in, day out driving traffic, and that compounds, which gives our client a huge competitive advantage. And so bottom line is, think about selling, reach out and call me. That's for sure. You want to jump into success stories?
Oh, absolutely. What do you got?
I'm hyped up now. You can tell, right? So the coolest part, I'm very proud of this one, is I actually bought a property from a seller here. Everybody kind of wonders, like, do you do that? So yeah. So we had it listed. The buyer could not close on it. Basically, seller wanted instant buyout. We bought out, cash deal, cash close, and that's something that she's super excited about, because now it's no questions asked, no anything else, boom, close. And so that's something that is an option out there based on the situation, right? And so that's something we do all the time. They always ask, do you actually buy houses? Yeah, we do. We have them bought out. I buy them. This is cash coming from me personally. And so that's just something that we're able to do consistently, very well capitalized for that. Other part, just super cool, I'm very proud of this one, is Mary, right? Mary had her house listed with another agent, another realtor, for over 6 months, no action. And here's the crazy part. This is why this time matters, right? So she was living in Myrtle Beach, taking care of her mother. The problem was it's very difficult taking care of a mother by herself.
Right.
So the goal there is to move back to New Jersey, so there's family around to help her, obviously take care of her mother. Now, you can imagine that every day is probably strenuous when you're doing that on your own.
Sure.
Imagine going through the challenge of 6+ months with the agent not doing anything to get their property sold. And this is where pain comes in. This is why it matters to you, right? And so the reality is, sell the market for 6+ months, no action, no offers, anything, right? Only frustration. The cool part, she had a friend tell her to give Sloan Realty Group a call. We came in, identified the problem, marketing, launched Global Marketing Blitz, professional photos, drove massive traffic. I had under contract 98.3% asking price within a couple weeks, right? The fact is, the agent you choose matters. And so that's something that's very, very important, to make sure that you're able to do, because there's a lot more at stake than most people realize. They think, well, I'm just going to use so-and-so, or my friend's uncle's cousin's brother who's doing it part-time, right? And then I hear it all the time, like, this stuff matters, right? How much pain does she have to go through and have to do that by herself and delay that, right? Both financial and obviously emotional. And so don't wait. Don't be the horror story. Reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD. Also, Kathy was building a new home, needed to sell her home for absolute top dollar to make the numbers work on the bigger home, right? The challenge, anytime you do that, it's a very delicate dance, because do you sell first or buy first, right? So she had to sell her home to be able to purchase the one she's building, or you lose out on it. And so we timed that perfect, teed it up, launched our Global Marketing Blitz, because she obviously had to get top dollar. The crazy part is, she had interviewed a bunch of agents before she reached out, and someone told her about us. And I think actually she heard the testimonials on the radio and reached out and gave us a call. And so ultimately with that, I was blown away by our marketing system, went with us. We came in, Global Marketing Blitz, professional photos, drove massive traffic, multiple offers on her property within a couple weeks, more money than she expected, and we timed the closing date to exactly what she needs. And so the reality is we can make whatever happen you need to happen, right? If you need to have, even we have sometimes clients will allow them to lease it back based on your timeline. But the reality is don't get stuck losing out on one, because that's the catch-22 of real estate. Do you buy first or you sell first?
Right.
And that's where our whole guarantee came into play to help with that catch-22, right? Because if not, you're stuck with 0 houses or you're stuck with 2 houses. And so that's kind of where that part comes in as well. And one thing too, we've been able to have a few people lately. We got hold on 2 pages here, but a lot of times we've had a lot of investors lately who may be tired of just dealing with tenants or whatever it is. Like Billy, we just have on here, investment property, tenant moved out. He said, look, I don't want to mess with that anymore. Reach out to us. We're in a top dollar. Boom, we matched it up with another investor. We have hundreds and hundreds of investors that we work with. I'm a part of a top investor mastermind across the country. I got some people in my mastermind group on 1,200 doors, meaning 1,200 single family homes. I mean, there's some big time players. And so I'm trying to get on these people and learn from them and do things as well. I actually fly to California the middle of 3 weeks from now to meet with that mastermind. We meet in San Diego, and there's some big time players there. And so we're able to leverage that here, both in single family, condos, whatever it may be, based on that. So if you're thinking about selling, reach out, give us a call. We have massive things going on right now because of seasonality. How much time? I want to get to that staging thing really quick, the impact of staging. This is something that we've been doing for years and years. Before it was really like a cool thing. Just because we had someone on our team get certified as an ASP certified stager. And so here's some crazy numbers you kind of look at, right? From a seller's agent standpoint, meaning the listing agent, right? 25% of sellers, paid to have their home staged before listing nationally. And a lot of times what we do is we can help you do that without having to make a significant investment at all. As part of our program we have. 50% of staged homes saw a 1 to 10% increase in dollar value offers from buyers. And it's crazy. 62% of home sellers say it directly decreased the time on market for their home. Here's the crazy part, though, from buyers. That's what really matters. Like, what's the buyer say? And what it does, it matches your home to buyer psychology. And so what we do is reverse engineer the most likely buyer for your property, and we try to tee it up to match that person. So, for example, they got kids, the backyard needs to be right? There's certain things you're able to do to make that match. And so 77% said it made it easier for buyers to visualize the home as their own.
Sure.
That's our number one goal. I want them to walk in and feel like this is home. And so you neutralize it, do certain things to make that all play into the psychology of it. 40% of buyers are more willing to visit a home they saw online once it's staged. Why? Because your first showing happens online. Yeah. That's why that happens there. 44% saw an increase of 1 to 10% in dollar value on a staged home, even as the buyer. And so we have stagers we work with full time. We have our agents also trained in that, but we tee that up. And so we use that plus professional photography is what tees up the increase online, right? We can get a 10% increase in views online, right? Times 10,000 people. Guess what happens? That's much more traffic we're driving to your house. And so that's why the agent you have matters, right? A lot of people out there don't have the experience or the volume that can help guide you that way. And so if you're thinking about selling, reach out, call us. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till Tuesday. Reach out, call me right now at 843-808-SOLD.
That's the number to call. You need to do it. So what are you waiting for? Give Blake a call today and find out exactly what he can do for you. And what can he do for you? A lot. And a lot more than some of the other people that are out there trying to do that, because they can't do it to Blake's level. And if you listen to the show at all, you know that. So what are you waiting for? Give him a call today at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. We'll do it again next week, Blake?
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
Sounds good. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Selling your home doesn't have to be filled with drama or having to pay hidden fees. Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here to tell you, as an active investor, I firmly believe in working with the smartest local agents who sell homes in high volume